Hello viewers, welcome back to Medico Virally. In this session we are going to discuss about the coronavirus, the pharmacological aspects mainly. Regarding the SPM aspects we have already discussed in the other video. You can find the link to that video in the description. So here we will be confining only to the pharmacological targets of the drugs. Coronavirus is not a new virus. It was already found in many of the countries. So there was many epidemics which was found in other countries. So it was at that time it was causing the SARS-CoV, MERS-CoV. So these are the old variants like severe acute respiratory syndrome and Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, which was caused by the coronavirus. So these were the old variants, and the new variant, which is the pandemic or in the entire world. So this is named to be SARS-CoV-2. Okay, so the disease is named as COVID-19. So you all know it is coronavirus disease 19, and other funny way to remember is it is from China origin virus in December 2019. Okay, this is another funny name to remember the exact date of that. Regarding the important dates like when was it termed, how was it coined, how was it changed to other names, it was already discussed in the SPM video, so you please go through that. Coming to the pathogenesis, to get a better view of the pathogenesis, I will just tell you a small story, and after that we will go into the details of the pathogenesis of coronavirus. Okay, so you all might have seen might have experienced the check-in in the airports. So when you want to get into the flight, there will be many check-ins. So the first point is you have to show the passport, and after that you enter into that and you give your luggage to them and they will have a check-in again. And the second one is check-in of the total body for any suspicious particles. So for example, if you are the person who wants to go into the flight, so you are coming, you show your passport, and if you are very genuine you can cross all the check-ins, there is no problem. But some persons like terrorists, when they enter into the airport, they pretend as if they are innocent. No one can identify them. Even they don't carry any of the harmful particles or else weapons. So they don't even carry any weapons. But after completion of the final check-in, final security check-in, after entering into the airport, there in the bathrooms or some other instruments, by using them, they make a special weapons inside the airport where there will be no other check-in into the flight. So there will be no other security check-in. So after entering into that, they made some weapons and they entered into the flight finally. So after these terrorists enter into the flight, they hijack this pilot, the cockpit. So now what happens? They completely block the system of the cockpit, like they completely block the servers in the cockpit. There will be no communication from the flight to the airport. So all the communications are hijacked. So if there is no communication, the pilot cannot ask for help. So he cannot ask the airport for the help, and he cannot even inform that his flight is hijacked. So this is the same way the coronavirus is hijacking our human cells. So we will go into the pathogenesis and you can understand why I explained this small story. For example, you know the structure of the coronavirus. Here the main important point is the spike glycoprotein. It is the main key important particle of the coronavirus structure, helpful for attachment of the virus. And this pink one is the RNA, single stranded RNA. It is used to enter into our cells and then block all our systems. So this spike glycoprotein only attaches to one of the enzymes in our body. So that enzyme, to understand that, you all know like the RAS mechanism which we have already discussed in the congenital heart failure. So these RAS mechanism, you know, the angiotensin is converted into the angiotensin 1 with the help of renin. Again this angiotensin 1 is converted to 2 with the help of ACE. And you know the main important points regarding the angiotensin 2. The angiotensin 2 will be acting upon these angiotensin receptors, and after it acts on the receptors, there will be some vasoconstriction, and also there will be release of the aldosterone, which leads to the increased retention of the water. So these all functions will be common. But after some time, this angiotensin 2 will be metabolized and degraded, because if it works for a longer duration, we get the vasoconstriction for a longer period and there will maybe some adverse effects. So that is the reason there is another enzyme which will degrade or metabolize this angiotensin 2 after its action is completed. This is the enzyme. So the coronavirus, this spike glycoprotein, is in love with this angiotensin converting ACE2 enzyme. So it wants to attach, it wants to bind to this enzyme. It is very fond. I just represent with this small diagram. Like these yellow ones are the spike glycoprotein. Okay, so it has to modify itself. Before it has to attach to this ACE2, it has to modify itself, and later it has to modify this ACE2 also. Only then the patch up happens. Okay, so first it elongates one of its spike glycoprotein. Okay, this is the elongated spike glycoprotein. So that was one function, and later it has to convert the ACE2 enzyme. It has to make it very sweet. So to make it sweet, it undergoes glycosylation. So this enzyme will undergo glycosylation of ACE2. So this will be done with the help of, this glycosylation of ACE2 will be done with the help of transmembrane proteases, and we also tell it as TMPSS2. Just you need not remember it. The glycosylation happens, and after that the spike glycoprotein attaches to the ACE2 enzyme. Okay, this is how I have represented. So after it has attached, it has to make some protective cover around itself. So this protective cover is the endosome. So it forms an endosome around it, and after this endosome is formed, now it has to enter into this human cell. So this red box is the human cell. So to enter into the human cell, it has one demand. The coronavirus has one demand. The human cell must be acidic. When this is acidic, only then it can enter. So if it is alkaline, these cells cannot enter into the cell and there will be no reactions. Okay, there is no symptoms further and there is no progression of the disease. That is the reason most of the articles tell you to drink more of the citrus, to eat more of the citrus foods, or else to drink more of the lemon water. So this makes you alkaline. From acidic you will be made into alkaline when these fruits are taken. So this is the main reason, because the coronavirus needs only the acidic conditions, only then it can enter into the human cell. Okay, fine. Now it has entered into the human cell. After it has entered into the human cell, this endosome protective cover will be removed, and the main part, that is the RNA, this RNA will be released. After this RNA is released, these RNA sends some messenger RNA, and also depending upon the human RNA, this RNA gets replicated. That is, you might have heard this word, RNA dependent RNA polymerase, right? So with the help of this enzyme, more RNA will be generated again. The spike glycoprotein has changed itself. It has changed the ACE2, so it made it sweet. After that it has attached, and later it formed the endosome, and after that, due to these acidic conditions of the cell, it can easily enter into the human cell, and later it has pushed the RNA outside, and after this RNA is pushed, it releases some messenger RNA, and also depending on human RNA, it produces more of the RNAs. It generates more RNA, replication happens depending on RNA dependent RNA polymerase. So now this particle, the main messenger RNA, goes into the nucleus. You know, in the flight, the most important chamber is the cockpit, right? In the same way, in our human cell, the most important point is nucleus, the main where we store all our genetic material. So this virus enters into the nucleus with the help of this importin channel. The channel name is importin. After this enters into the nucleus, it hijacks our nucleus. It hijacks all our signals. And now what it does? It inhibits the human cell division. Our cells won't be divided further. It inhibits our cell division. So what happens if it is inhibited? For example, apoptosis, necrosis, you might have heard in the pathology series already. Like if your cells cannot regenerate or replicate, there may be many problems. And it also blocks the signals for immune response. So now this cell, which is infected with coronavirus, cannot send the message to your immune headquarters. It cannot call for help. Like in the same way, just in the story, what we said, the terrorist, after entering into this cockpit, he could not, as he blocked all the communications, this flight pilot cannot get the help from the airport. In the same way, if our cell is hijacked by the coronavirus, it cannot ask the immune headquarters. There is no communication, so all the servers are down. So in this way, all the signals for immune response are blocked. So if the immune response is blocked, can our immune system attack? No, it cannot attack. So now it is the time for the rest of the coronavirus to get itself replicate. So now this virus calls for a meeting. So all these coronavirus particles come and they attend this meeting and then replicate and enter into every cell of the human body. In this way, more damage occurs. So after the increased aggressive conditions of this virus, our immunity senses there is something bad happening in our cells. So, but it cannot exactly identify what is happening, where it is exactly happening, and hence our immune headquarters will release more cytokines. Here you can see it increased more release of the cytokines. So not a single cytokine, because it doesn't know what is happening. That's why it sends all of its soldiers to fight against that. So when it sends all the cytokines, we may have many adverse effects. The most important adverse effects are the acute respiratory distress syndrome and multi-organ failures. So these may happen. When it happens, we will die. Okay, so this is how the coronavirus is entering the human cells and hijacking our nuclear material and blocking the immune system and then making us to die. The coronavirus may be enjoying by killing the humans, but this is not happening. We have many pharmacological advances. So now we can stop each of these steps. For example, if you can observe here, this entry, like it has changed itself, it has made the ACE too sweet and it created an endosome, and after that, maintaining these acidic conditions, this has entered into the human cell. So this entry, we can stop it with the drugs which we already have. So first step will be inhibition of the entry. Okay, and second step, what happened after the entry, the RNA is released, and based on our human RNA, the RNA dependent RNA polymerase, it is replicating itself. It is producing more of the messenger RNA. So we even try to inhibit this enzyme, the second target. And later, if there is no channel, if there is no import in, it cannot hijack our nucleus. Our nucleus can sense what is happening. Someone has entered our territory, and the nucleus will send the information to the immune headquarters if this channel is not present. If this channel is present, what happened? This entered into the nucleus and hijacked our nucleus. So our next target will be blocking this channel, this importing channel. And finally, if we cannot do anything in these steps, at least we try to inhibit this immunity overburden. At least we try to suppress the immune system or modulate the immune system. So these are the main targets of the coronavirus. So let us see each of them. So first, let us inhibit the entry. How do we inhibit the entry? First, we have to stop the modulation of the spike. Okay, the modulation of the spike glycoprotein. And next, we will inhibit this glycosylation of ACE2. The sweetness, we don't want that. If the ACE2 becomes sweet, we will be dead. So we don't want this sweetness, and we inhibit that. And also we don't want this pH to be acidic. So we change the pH conditions also. So which drugs does these steps? Let us see. So the main entry inhibitors are chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, umifenofir, camostat and nafamostat. The first one, regarding the hydroxychloroquine, it acts by changing the pH of the cell. Like this can change from acidic to alkaline, and there will be inhibition of this fusion. The particle cannot enter. So the hydroxychloroquine, the main mode of action is making the pH alkaline, thereby inhibiting the fusion, and entry will be inhibited finally. So this is the main pathway, and the chloroquine does the same. Okay, and the main adverse effects of these drugs are because if you need to be very careful regarding the adverse effects. For example, it increases the QT interval. So if a patient comes to you, like you are working in a COVID care center and you are deputed to the ICU, and if a patient has arrived and if he was already on the drugs like amiodarone, and now you are trying to give the chloroquine, so there will be more interaction because even amiodarone causes the increased QT interval. So when you, without asking the history, without taking the proper history of the patient, you are just eager to stop the entry of the coronavirus into the cell. And now without asking the history, if you give this chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, it interacts with this QT interval elongation drugs like amiodarone. So when it interacts with these kind of drugs, there will be more disturbance in the QT interval and there may be an adverse effect. So you have to be very careful regarding this. And these drugs decrease the glucose levels in the body. That means they can cause the hypoglycemia. So if a patient is already a diabetic and is on hypoglycemic drugs, now if you prefer the chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, there will be further decrease of the glucose. Am I right? So you must be very careful regarding the history of the patient, like what he is taking, is he on any other medication. So if he was on hypoglycemic medications or some antiarrhythmic medications, so then there is more chance of adverse effects. And there are also neuropsychiatric side effects, retinopathy, and in few conditions where there is deficiency of glucose 6-PD deficiency, hemolysis may also occur. The main contraindication of these drugs is in allergy and retinal or visual field changes. So you cannot give these chloroquines in these conditions. And regarding the dose, do you need to change the dose in few patients or not? Yeah, like in renal diseases, chloroquine dose must be decreased because it can cause renal toxicity. So you have to be very careful with the dosage of the chloroquine. And regarding the hydroxychloroquine, there is no need of changing the dose. It is safe in renal diseases. Okay. So coming to the second drug, umifenovir. Okay. This inhibits the endocytosis. Endocytosis will be the entry of this particle into the cell. So this endocytosis will be inhibited, and in Russia and China countries it was approved for influenza. That is the thing you have to remember about the umifenovir. Most of the MCQs will be asked from the chloroquine part only. Okay, these you just have to know for your knowledge. The third one is the camostat and nafamostat. Stat is something like stop, right? Stat, stop. So we have to stop this TMPRSS2. I already said you. It is a transmembrane protease. What it did? This transmembrane protease made the ACE2 sweeter. So glycosylation of ACE2 was done by TMPRSS2. So this step if you can inhibit, then the ACE2 cannot be changed. When ACE2 cannot be changed, is there any spike glycoprotein that can attach to the ACE2? Absolutely no. So if the ACE2 is not sweet, this cannot attach. So that is the reason we inhibit this protease, and these drugs in Japan, they are already approved for the pancreatitis in the past, and now we are using it in coronavirus treatment also. These drugs are given IV. Okay, so now that we have completed this whole part, like the entry part we have completed. The second target is inhibition of the RNA dependent RNA polymerases. You know why we are trying to inhibit it, right? Because if it is inhibited, more of the messenger RNA will not be generated. The main drugs here is remdesivir. So to understand it, you know, rem is something like ram, desi vir virus. So whatever you do, first you have to know about the god, the ram. So what the god does, it acts on the desi virus. So this is the one funny way to remember the name of the drug, remdesivir and galidesivir. So these both kill this desi virus. And also God is first, like some people mostly are devotional, so they keep on praying the God to get passed in the examinations even without preparing, which doesn't happen. So when those who think God is first, the alphabet letter A is also first in the same way. So A for adenosine. So these drugs are adenosine analogs, and the favipiravir is a purine analog. If you can see favipiravir, so the P letter is stressing somewhat. That is the reason you can remember it as the purine analog and ribavirin, and the rest is guanine analog. So these are, so there may be MCQ like remdesivir is which kind of analog, adenosine, purine, guanine, all the above, maybe some kind of MCQ may be asked. So you have to remember which analog is the drug, okay? And these drugs, or the first remdesivir group of drugs, will be prodrugs. So they must be converted into the active metabolite. Only then we can get the exact action of the drug. And it is given as IV infusion, slowly, not direct IV. It is given in the infusion. And these drugs were already tried for Ebola in the past. So now the main adverse effects of the remdesivir is kidney injury and reversibly increase in hepatic transaminases. So these drugs increase the hepatic transaminase, which cause many side effects. You need not learn detailedly about this right now. Just remember the remdesivir drugs can cause kidney injury, kidney damage, and also they increase the hepatic transaminases, right? And coming to the next, favipiravir, P, purine analog. In the past, in country like Japan, it was used for influenza. But this drug, we have to adjust the dose in liver disease patients who are compromised with their liver. You have to adjust the dose and give them. The main side effects of this drug will be diarrhea, hyperuricemia, increased uric acid in the blood. It also increases these transaminases as like remdesivir, but neutropenia occurs. There will be decreased neutrophils when this drug is given. So you have to be caution with these drugs, because these are not like paracetamol, some other easy drugs. When you are giving these drugs, you have to be very careful regarding their dosage, adverse effects, interaction with the drugs. So you have to understand each and every drug individually and detailedly. And coming to the last drug in this group is ribavirin. It is a guanine analog. This drug is recently under clinical trials. So very high doses are required to get the action. To get the peak plasma concentration, only then the drug can act with the coronavirus in the body. So this ribavirin is right now under clinical trials. Remember, no drug is approved for treatment of coronavirus up to now. Okay, so only all these drugs which we are reading right now, they can inhibit all these pathways and they can decrease the progression of the disease. Thereby we can expect some cure from these patients. Okay. And the main adverse effects of the ribavirin are hemolytic anemia, hepatotoxic, and teratogenic. Right? That is the reason why there is many clinical trials undergoing with the ribavirin. Only this drug was working well, but it has many side effects. It causes hemolytic anemia, hemolytic breakdown of the blood cells, thereby causing anemia. So it is a very dangerous situation. And also it kills our liver, hepatotoxic, and also teratogenic. So you have to be careful regarding these drugs. Okay, right. Now what happened? Up to where we have reached? We have inhibited the entry. We have inhibited this RNA dependent polymerase so that messages are not sent, SMS are not typed by this virus. So when this messenger RNA is not present, it cannot enter. So up to here, if your drugs cannot work by any reason, the messenger RNA is released finally. Now what this messenger RNA does, it does not simply sit inside the cell and watch some TV, right? This messenger RNA will enter into the nucleus with the help of this importin. So now if you can inhibit the importin, can the cell enter the nucleus and hijack our immune systems? Absolutely no. So the drug which can inhibit this importin is ivermectin. Ivermectin is usually used as anti-helminthic drug and also for scabies. The main side effects here will be the CNS side effects, ataxia and drowsiness. So we have finally learnt about many mechanisms, and after all our efforts, the virus entered the nuclear machinery. It inhibited the communications with our immune headquarters, and now our immune system was sensing something fishy is happening, and it cannot sense where exactly it is happening. It releases more cytokines. Cytokine storm will be present. Cytokine burst will be present. So now we try to at least change the immune modulations, because if more cytokines are released, what happens? Fever, chills, cough, many of the side effects. Patient cannot tolerate with these side effects. So we try to modulate the immune headquarters. So we use corticosteroids, interleukin 6 inhibitors or antagonists, anti-vascular endothelial growth factor, and convalescent plasma. This is the plasma which is taken from the recovered patients. So there we already, the antibodies are generated. So if you take this plasma and give to the other patients who is affected with the coronavirus, the immune system will be made powerful and this virus can be killed. Okay, none of these mechanisms are approved by the FDA. Only these drugs, you have to learn how to stop the entry, how to stop the RNA dependent polymerases, how to stop entry of the into the nucleus, or how to stop the hijack of your immune system, and at least you try to change the immune system or modulate the immune system. Okay, you can easily remember, I think. Corticosteroids are not so effective in this condition. But even though we are giving right now, and interleukin 6 antagonists, mainly sarilumab. MAB is monoclonal antibody against the interleukin 6. How can you remember? Monoclonal antibody against the interleukin 6. And this is the same tocilizumab, the another drug which acts as antagonist for the interleukin 6. These are all the information which is provided for you for the coronavirus pathogenesis and the drug targets. Remember, these information which is provided here is most accurate and will be most important for cracking the MCQs. In the upcoming board examinations, at least 1 or 2 MCQs will be asked from this coronavirus topic, mainly from the pharmacological aspects and also SPM aspects. So I recommend you to watch both the videos, the SPM aspects of coronavirus and also pharmacological aspects of this. Only then you can get some knowledge and you can improve. If you want to improve some of this part of the lecture, you can put down in the comment sections. Most welcome for the comments. It keeps motivating us. And thank you very much for watching this video, and kindly do subscribe and share to your friends. Good luck.